10 years ago, the Royals made it into the World Series, and it was their first World Series appearance since 1985. The team that they were going to be facing was the San Francisco Giants. In the last game of the World Series, Game 7, it came down to the absolute last chance. The only problem for Kansas City is Madison Bumgarner pitched 5 full innings in that game, inevitably closing it out with a Salvador Perez fly out to third base. This team was sent home just like that. And then 2015 rolls around, and the Royals this time find a way to win it all. Back-to-back World Series appearances, and that's all she wrote, because they haven't been back to the playoffs since that year. Rebuilding has been the theme in Kansas City, or I guess unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs, but we'll go ahead and ignore them. A long, boring rebuild ensued as this team awaited for talent to rise, and the most wins that they've had since 2018 is 74. So the question becomes, when are the Royals going to be good again? Luckily for you, I have an answer, and I'm pretty sure that I'm right on this. The only player from the World Series winning team left is Salvador Perez. It was 2022, and it was business as usual from the Royals, aka another 5th place type year in the division, so this team was just not good, but they had upside, and I mean upside for the future. They embraced a full brand new youth movement, calling up left-handed first baseman Vinny Pasquantino, top prospect Bobby Witt Jr., and future Salvador Perez successor, hopefully, MJ Melendez. The Royals were pushing forward for this team, and we got a good bit of flashes from pretty much everyone that year. My personal favorite was Vinny Pasquantino, hitting for a .295 average, 10 home runs, and an .832 OPS. It might have only been 200 at-bats, but it was still a damn good rookie year. Their future first baseman has arrived. As far as their number 1 prospect, Bobby Witt Jr., he also put together a pretty damn successful season. Then you have MJ Melendez, who was okay, but he needed to build off of his season. Now, notice how I have not mentioned a single starting pitcher. And that's because the pitching Kansas City had was actually quite brutal. At least everyone outside of Brady Singer. Singer was by far their best pitcher with a .323 ERA in 2022. It was his 3rd season, and I would call that pretty damn successful. Going into 2023, no one thought that Kansas was going to be competitive, and they were not. Simply put, they lost 106 games. They had a lot go wrong, and I mean a lot. Vinny Pasquantino was unable to build off of his great rookie campaign. Now, I will say his season was short-lived as he had to get shoulder surgery in June. Oh, and yeah, you know how I said that they had no pitching? Well, that became even more true because Brady Singer was quite horrendous. Unable to build off of his breakout season, he struggled badly, and MJ Melendez, by the way, was yet again underwhelming. It seemed like everything that could go wrong was going wrong every which way. Other than one main player, Bobby Witt Jr., putting up a breakout season with 30 home runs, 96 RBIs, and an .813 OPS. That's not even to mention how great that his defense was, which by the way is insane because he was so bad defensively in 2022. He was one of the worst defenders in baseball, but he quickly changed that narrative in 2023. So at least they had someone to watch in such a poor year. Now, as unfortunate as the season went, you can still be optimistic because, for instance, at the trade deadline, they flipped Aroldis Chapman for Cole Ragans. Ragans did not work out in Texas, not one bit, but he sure as hell did in Kansas City, becoming their best pitcher for the season with a .264 ERA. The core remains the same. You got your Bobby Witt Jr., you got Pasquantino, Melendez, and even more like Singer. Now, of course, they have an added addition of Ragans. The entire core is all still early into their career and have shown to have success in the past. A fully healthy Pasquantino bounce-back year could certainly happen. Yeah, Brady Singer might have had a .552 ERA, but he could also still go ahead and put together a few different things and maybe even have a good year. I mean, Singer was really overworked last year because they had no one else, and that's going to cause any pitcher to struggle, and that's exactly what happened with him. Luckily, he managed to stay healthy, and he's actually had a very productive offseason so far. He said he's been developing his four-seamer and his sweeper. Honestly, it would be hard to be as bad as he was last year. Now, with pieces in place, this leaves a key question. What would the Royals do in the offseason with money to spend?
I'm only burning my half. All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal.
Early into this offseason, they were making moves, starting out with two big trades with the Atlanta Braves. The Royals went ahead and sent the Braves cash considerations, and the Royals got Nick Anderson. Anderson had a 3 ERA last year at 33 years old, guaranteed to be a reliable piece for that Royals bullpen. They also went out and they traded for starting pitcher Kyle Wright. You look at his 2023 numbers, and they are just flat out bad. But again, there's more optimism to be had. Look at his 2022, 30 starts, 3.19 ERA, simply just nothing to go ahead and complain about. If they could get that kind of version of Wright back, he could help this rotation desperately, and God knows that they need it. A few days later, they made a signing bringing in utility man Garrett Hampson. Hampson is nothing special, but he's certainly going to be valuable with his speed and with his ability to play all over the place defensively. Now moving into December, they then made a few more moves, making more of an emphasis on the bullpen by adding on Will Smith. Smith is, again, nothing special, but he's had success in the past. Also, did I mention that every team he's been on in the last 3 years have won the World Series? Yeah, Will Smith is practically a good luck charm, at least as far as I'm concerned. This was now 3 pitching transactions made, with Smith, Wright, and Anderson. Certainly an upgrade for a team that only had 2 players below a 3 ERA last year. And oh, don't get it twisted, they continued bettering this roster. This time, it was an outfielder with Hunter Renfroe. This is his 7th team since 2019, so no one has wanted him to stick around. The good thing is that it does not mean that he's bad. He's a good righty power bat who's had success in recent years. That was their last addition to the lineup, but it was not their last addition to the team. The rotation still wasn't good, Singer, Reagant, and Wright, they just weren't gonna cut it. But you know who was? Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo is the ideal man for the Royals rotation, a veteran presence at 34 years old who's able to pitch really well. He's had 3 straight seasons with a 3 ERA, but his last season was his best, putting it all together and finally molding into a great starter. 45 mil, 3 seasons, and he's worth every single penny. Things were much better, but they didn't just stop there. This time, they ended up signing Michael Wacha, a 2-year deal on a $32 million contract to bring him up to Kansas City. He broke out in 2022 with the Red Sox, and they did not believe that his success was repeatable. So they let him walk, he went to the Padres, and he was even better. Now, this is where he is. He went out and got this big contract by the Royals. This offseason was completely unexpected, and I didn't think that they would operate like that, but they did. Many have speculated that it could be for one main reason. They want a competitive team to be able to justify getting a brand new stadium. If they're winning games and they're spending money, they could say, okay, go ahead and approve our brand new purchase for a brand new stadium. Again, this is just fan speculation. We do know that they are looking to get a new stadium though. Either way, this has been a good offseason for the Royals, because now, guess what? If they're bad, they could go ahead and sell at the trades deadline. If they're good, then guess what? They accelerated the rebuild. Reports that have came out over the last day have said that the Royals are trying to extend Bobby Witt Jr. It'll be really interesting to actually see what happens. Nothing is imminent as of right now, but it could happen. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought. Please subscribe if you did enjoy. If not, thanks for watching, and peace out.
I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right.